And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Jonesin' with Jeff Drake.
Start.
Okay. Hey kids, Jeff Drake here on the Jonesin' with Jeff Drake show. I got a very special guest today, Steve Olson, the co-founder of the Joneses with me. You guys been asking for Steve. He's finally here. We're going to talk about early Joneses days, the days before that. It's going to be fun. Steve's done a lot of things in his life. Musician, skateboarder, artist, actor, model, sculptor. I mean, he's really done it all. And it's going to be really great talking to him. We've been friends about 45 years. It's hard to believe since we both still look like teenagers. Anyway, this is going to be really good. Steve, welcome to the show.
Is that my cue? Just kidding.
It was.
Kidding. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. Hey, JD. What's
Are
going
you ready? Yeah.
I was ready. I was making the
Okay.
joke. I'm just starting off funny.
All right. Well,
Ha 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 ha.
you're making me laugh. You're making me laugh.
I get it.
All right,
You're
Steve.
gonna
Well,
laugh a
welcome
lot
to the
today.
show.
Right?
It's good to see you.
It's good to
Um,
see you, even though you can't see me.
Yeah, I really can't see it, so it's
I
not
know
that
that.
good to see you.
Well,
So-
yeah, it'd probably be better if you could see me, but either way. Maybe it's just
So,
good this way.
So it's great to have you on Jonesin' with Jeff Drake, Steve, especially since me and you started the Joneses back there with Mitch and Ron, Mitch Dean and Ron Emery. But before that, I mean, there was a time before the Joneses, and do you remember the night that we met?
I do now because you told me when we weren't recording, but
Yeah,
at the
I just told you about
Cuckoo's Nest.
5 minutes ago, but I'll tell it again
Yeah,
since
tell the
there's people
that
listening now.
are
I
viewing.
had just graduated from high school, so I was still a teenager, and I moved down to LA back to LA from Merced. And me and my brother, my younger brother Scott, went to the Cuckoo's Nest to see Agent Orange one night, and they canceled. And when I walked in, there was this band on stage, and by that time I had gotten out of punk rock. I was into rockabilly, so I had my rockabilly outfit on. And this band was playing Down the Road a piece or something, and I was paying attention to their shoes because they were wearing creepers, and I'd only seen those on pictures of like Steve Jones and the Sex Professionals. And so I came up after they were done to ask Steve where to get those shoes. And then Steve asked me, "Hey man, what'd you think about the band?" And I said, "Well, you guys could use another guitar player." And Steve said, "Well, do you know one?" And I said, "Yeah, me." And then Steve got my phone number, and the rest is history. You remember that, Steve?
Yes, I do. I'm just fucking.
Okay.
around. Listen,
So then one
no,
night you
yeah, I
called
do
me,
remember.
and
I
one of the
remember it
questions-
vaguely, but I mean, what is that? 45 years ago? More.
Yeah, it's been a
Either
long
way.
time ago.
But yeah, so yeah, of course. But I mean, you joined the Aristocats, and it was a rockabilly
Yeah.
band. But in the rockabilly band, we had Johnny Rockin', we had Joey Escalante, who then went on to be in the Vandals and start the
Right.
Vandals with Human and Jan and Steve-O. So
Yep.
that was interesting too, because he couldn't play drums to save his fucking life. And he's just like, yo, do a rim shot, and he didn't even really understand what that was. Either way, so then we got rid of that fucking cat, and he pulled out some weed and we started rolling joints on Johnny Rockin's table.
Yeah, but before that, you called me and gave me a phone interview before I was in the band to make sure I was cool enough. And you asked me what I thought about Adam and the Ants. Do you remember?
No, I don't remember. Fuck,
Yeah.
no, I have no idea, but tell me.
That was 45 years ago. Yeah, I was at my dad's house in Anaheim, and I had given you my phone number, and you called, and you were like checking me out to see if I was cool enough to be in the Aristocats, and you asked me what I thought about Adam and the Ants.
Right?
And I said,
what
well, I
was your
don't really want to
response?
be in a band like Adam and the Ants. And you said, okay, good, cool, you're in. And then, yeah, that was the Aristocats.
Right. It was a great name. Wow.
Yeah.
Either way.
And we used to do
So,
shows with like the Rockin' Rebels and Jimmy and the Mustangs, those house parties down in South Orange County. And we'd play the Cuckoo's Nest and San Luis Obispo, I think was the first show I did with you guys.
yeah, I think San Luis was the first show, 100%. And
That was
there was a little brawl at the Rockabilly show, if you
Yeah.
remember.
Oh.
Yeah,
Rumble. There was a Rumble.
a Rumble, fine, Rumble in Brighton, but
Yes.
we were in San Luis Obispo. But yeah, anyway, Yeah,
And this,
that was kind of funny though, because then all of a sudden the only thing I saw him do that was of any good was Joey Escalante springing from the back of his drum set out into the audience to participate in the Rumble.
yes, yes. And this was before all this. This was before the Stray Cats. Remember, we went and saw the Stray Cats 2 nights in a row at the Roxy when they first came over. But this
Right.
was all before that. We were into like Levi and the Rock Cats. There was no Stray Cats yet, so the Rockabilly thing really didn't get as big as it did later. It was still kind of a small thing, right?
Yeah, but it was kind of super fun. I really liked
It was
Rockabilly.
very fun. Yeah,
Yeah, I
lot
mean
of Rockabilly
it's
girls.
right, but it seemed as though going into the Rockabilly scene was kind of going a little bit earlier than punk. I mean, it seemed like the beginning of punk was rockabilly to me.
It kind of, yeah. I mean,
You know what I mean? Like if it
I
was,
kind of got out of punk, but
I'm listening.
when it became hardcore, I lost interest. It's like it wasn't my thing, you know.
Right,
The punk rock scene I was in San Francisco was different. It wasn't hardcore. It was a little bit different.
right,
And I always liked rockabilly because I always liked 50s music because my dad's records I used to listen to.
right,
And so when I
exactly.
found you guys, it was like, ah, perfect match, you know. And
Right.
I guess me and you just became friends because I never really hung out with Johnny Rock, and I think it was because that one day you were talking about like when I did start rolling a joint on his parents' dining room table, he had a stroke because he had never I don't think he'd ever seen weed before, and I had this big bag. I was rolling joints on his table, and what are you doing?
I love
I was
that.
just rolling a joint, man, just rolling a
Yeah,
joint.
I'm just gonna get a little
And so
high.
then you somehow you found the Rockaholics. How did that happen?
I don't know exactly. I think we met Kenny J somewhere, and he had his friend Jerry, who was a drummer, and then Johnny Rockin and myself went and jammed with them, and it was fun. And Kenny J was, he's kind of a singer frontman. He wasn't kind of, he was. And then the Rockaholics started. But at that same time, you came in with me in the Rockaholics and Johnny Rockin, right?
Um, no, you
I'm
were already in. Johnny Rockin' wasn't in it. You came over to my apartment and said, "Hey," because I hadn't seen you for a while, and you just stopped by one day and said, "Hey, I'm in this new band called the Rockaholics. You got to get in." And so I did.
Oh, okay. I don't remember any of that
Yeah.
at all.
See,
I mean,
I wasn't around at the first part till you told me I had to get in. I don't know what happened before that.
right. Well, that's
Probably
all right
Johnny
though.
Rockin' joined and then he quit because he probably didn't like Kenny J.
I mean, I remember Johnny Rockin being in the band forever though with us.
In the Rockaholics.
Yeah, I'm 100% in the Rockaholics.
Mm. I don't
Yeah,
remember that. I think it was just I was the only guitar player until Ron joined at the very end.
at the very end of the Rockaholics.
Yeah, we did
Yeah,
like one or
no,
two shows
I
with Ron.
remember. I remember Johnny. I have pictures with Johnny Rockin and the Rockaholics.
Oh, okay. That must
Yeah,
have been before I joined.
yeah, I
That
think
must
so.
have
I
been
think it
before.
was. I think it was for sure. Maybe Kenny J and Johnny had differences of opinions
Yeah, something like that.
or
And
musical
then after the
direction or whatever.
Rockaholics quit, 'cause, me and Kenny J didn't get along. I think he kicked me out. And then we started playing with Reverend
But
Dan and
why did
Brian
he? Why?
Wassman.
Well, let's not go so forward yet. Why did he kick you out?
Kenny J.
Yeah.
My theory is because I wasn't. What I tell people is because I wasn't howdy doody enough. You know, I kind of was more of a, you know, I wore leather jackets and my pomp was usually kind of messed up a little bit. And I played with distortion on my guitar. I wasn't really that traditional of a rockabilly player, and I think he was looking for something a little bit more traditional. That's my theory anyway. Because otherwise, why would you
Well,
not want me in the band? I was really cool
I
back
don't
then.
know. I can't answer that question. It was a long time ago. Anyway, so whatever. But it's all right. So the Rockaholics split up, and
Yeah.
did they go record a record? I think they did.
Eventually they did, yeah, with
Yeah.
Ron Jaycox, American Standard, the same guy that did our Criminals EP.
Right. Well, I don't think I was in that version of the Rockaholics though.
No, that was after us.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So okay. So
Yeah,
then we play with
and then we
Reverend
did the
Dan and
drag.
Brian Wassman. Right.
Yeah, right.
But what does Reverend
And he
Dan
still
call it?
plays that. Um, what did he call it? You called it the Dragsters. He called it something else. The Monsters? No, the I don't remember. But he still plays that tape on his radio show.
Oh, he
That
does.
rehearsal tape we made.
Interesting.
I didn't even remember recording anything, but he's like, he sent me the DVD, and I'm like, what's this? He's like, I've been playing it on my radio show. I'm like, yeah, but what is it? He's like, oh, that's that band with me and you and Olson. And I'm like, we recorded? And he's like, yeah, it's great. People love it.
No, I don't remember that at all. When you sent it to me, I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah.
And
Either way.
we only played with them one time too, and it was in somebody's backyard in Long Beach. It was like a party, and party on the patio.
Oh, right.
Do you remember that?
No,
No. Okay.
not at
So
all.
tell
I
everybody
do. I
how
do.
the Joneses started. You
Well,
remember
I
that?
mean, the Joneses. I met Mitch Dean through my friend Rod Saunders. Rod Saunders is my friend from skateboarding. Mitch Dean was
I
the
remember him.
drummer for Tans of the Sun.
Yep.
Remember? And I remember he said,
From the
"Hey,
New Wave band.
right," but he said, "Hey, I play in this band that has a lockout, meaning the studio, the gear was set up and they could go in whenever." He said, "Do you know anyone who wants to play in a band?" And then I was like, "Yeah," like it was me and you and Ronnie, is what I remember.
Right.
And
Me and
and
me and
then,
Ron.
but Mitch Dean said to me, he said, "Hey, I have 3 shows right around the holiday season of Christmas." And he said, I don't remember the exact order, but one was Missing Persons at,
That was the first one.
right, Missing Persons at, what's the place called? The Village?
The second one was the
Alpine Village.
Dickies. There was
Right,
2
but
shows.
it
At
was
Alpine Village.
yeah, no, there were 3. There was
That was 3.
Missing Persons, yeah, the Dickies, and then the Plimsolls.
Plimsolls?
Yeah,
Okay.
Plimsolls.
And it was Christmas Eve, Christmas night, and the night after Christmas.
Yes. Yeah,
And I thought
and
we did really good we had like 3 weeks to get ready, and so we had to come up with a whole set of music in 3 weeks.
yeah, I thought that was a really good version of the Joneses,
It
actually.
was. We were writing songs. We actually wrote some songs in that time. And I don't know if you remember, we used to pile in my Mustang, and our girlfriends were all at work. So we'd pile into my Mustang and head to Mitch's studio and rehearse like Monday through Friday from like 9 o'clock in the morning until, I don't know, 4 in the afternoon or something. And in
Right.
3 weeks, we had a complete set with some originals, and
And we were
it was
tight.
pretty good. People liked it.
Yeah, I thought we sounded really kind of like one of the best versions of the Joneses
Yeah,
for
it was
me.
really cool.
Yeah.
And we both still had our rockabilly haircuts, so we looked rockabilly. We didn't look like the Joneses ended up looking later.
No,
Um,
not at all.
and Ron was still in TSOL, so he looked like he was in TSOL. Mitch, I don't know what Hands in the Sun looked like. I never saw them, but Mitch, had he
Looked like
started
you.
wearing the skirt yet? Do you remember when he started wearing the skirt?
No, but I remember him looking like he was from Tans in the Sun. Maybe he wore a leather jacket or something. He wore well, I don't remember I mean, kind of when you say a skirt, I don't remember him wearing a skirt though. What kind
He
of
used to wear a
skirt?
red skirt. He used to wear a
Right.
red skirt. Pretty much every time the Joneses played, he wore like this little red skirt.
With
And he would come out
pants?
from behind the drums and show everybody that he was wearing a little red skirt.
Oh, right. I thought the Joneses were kind of really super fun then.
Yeah. Well, that's why
Yeah.
people liked us, I
Right,
think.
but I mean, you had written some really great songs, I thought, and
Thank you.
we did a couple of we did some covers, and
Yeah.
then what you call it? And then what happened? Ronnie had to leave. I thought Ronnie
Right. Ron
wanted
had to
to.
go back.
I thought Ronnie wanted to stay in the Joneses.
He did. Here's the story that he told me. You know, he was in TSOL before, and they were pretty big at that point already.
Right.
And this is like 1981,
Yeah.
Christmas of '81, and I thought Ron was fitting in really well. I thought we sounded good. Me and him playing guitar together, and he can write songs too,
Right.
and we were collaborating, and it was really cool. And then he was living with this girl in Anaheim, and she told him he couldn't quit TSOL because TSOL made money and the Joneses didn't, and he didn't have a job. So she told him that he had to keep making money
Stay
with
with the
TSOL,
Joneses. Right. I mean,
or I
stay
think
with.
she tried to kick him out or something out of the apartment. And
And that was
I don't
out.
blame him for what he did. I mean, you know, he had to survive.
Yeah, yeah,
But I
yeah,
think that's
yeah. But
So then he quit, and
right,
Mitch brought in his friend Rick.
right. The Asian cat.
Yeah, do you remember his last name?
No.
I don't either.
Yeah, I have no
He
idea.
he was
But
pretty good.
he could play for sure.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
he was only in the band a couple weeks, and then we recorded that Jonestown single after only about 6 weeks from the very beginning. That was in January of '82. You remember
Right.
that?
Yeah, I mean, immediately, that was wild that we went and we did Criminals and we did Jonestown, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Zoner, that
Did,
instrumental. And on the
but
way home
Zoner
from the
didn't come
recording,
out
we
on the
stopped by K
45.
Rock and we knocked on the door, and Rodney answered the door. And we said, "Hey, we're the Joneses. This is our new song. Will you play it?" And we got back in the car, and he played it on the way home.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
You remember that? Yeah, that was cool.
Maybe, I kind of remember maybe going to K Rock more so that we were cruising around the building itself. Wasn't K Rock in Pasadena?
Yes.
Okay, but I just remember getting
think
a
so.
little bit having kind of having a little bit more fun, and taking the fire extinguisher. I don't know if you remember that.
That was a different time. That was a different
No
time.
way, that was at K Rock. You're crazy.
That wasn't K Rock, right? I
That
think it
was
was a
K
different time.
Rock. 100%. No way. That was well. Then it happened again another time. It happened at K Rock as well.
Yeah.
100%.
And
I don't know. Whatever. Did we have the Lime? Was the Lime being our manager yet?
not yet. That
Okay.
that came very soon after that, though. But before that, me and you went to the Stanton Lions Club, and we weren't the shows we were able to get weren't that good, and so we decided we were going to throw our own show. And the Stanton's Lions Club was only about a block from my grandma's house. I was living in a
Right.
trailer behind my grandma's house. And we dressed up all conservative and respectable. And we met this guy there, and he asked us why we wanted to rent the Stanton's Lions Club. And we told him it was for a wedding reception.
Right.
And so he rented it to us. Probably the biggest mistake he ever made.
Right.
So anyway, we put on this great show. It was us, a.k.a. the Vandals, and do you remember
Social
who else?
Distortion? I thought it was Social Distortion.
Was it? I don't think.
I
Anyway,
think so.
and it was packed. It was wild, and it turned into a riot. And
Right. Right.
and that guy Rick took off with all the beer. We were selling beer, and that guy Rick took off with all the beer money, and that's when we decided he had to leave the band.
Oh, he
Remember?
took off with
We
all
didn't
the
like
beer
that.
money?
Yeah, he left with all the beer money. He said something about I don't know. He was entitled to it, or I don't know how. But we were upset that he took all the money.
Right, that's lame.
Yeah,
He
so we
wasn't
kicked him out.
entitled to it.
And that's the night we met your friend Steve Houston.
And now he's my friend.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do. He was playing.
Well, he
yeah.
threatens to kill me, so he can't be my friend. But
Oh, he was.
do you
all
remember
our
we drove
friends,
down to
but-
his house in Costa Mesa and sort of had our first talk with him and asked him about joining the band? You remember that?
No, I have no recollection.
Okay. Yeah, we drove down
Um,
to his house in Costa Mesa, gave him an interview.
And what did we ask him?
I don't remember. I just remember on the way down there you were telling me that he had been in some bands before, and so people knew who he was. And
Right. I mean, he
might
was
be
in
good
the
for the
Clan and
band.
he was in Vicious Circle.
He was in the Clan, right?
Yeah, and he was
Vicious
in Vicious
Circle.
Circle, and
And I think he was in one other band. He was kind of a punk rock guitar hero up to that point.
right.
And
But
so then we got
you can-
Steve Houston in the band.
Did you consider the Joneses punk rock?
Do I consider the Joneses punk
Yeah,
rock?
did you?
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
No, I was trying to get away from punk rock. And
Right.
but punk rock is really what gave the band the first break because Steve knew those guys in BYO,
Yeah.
and that's when we did that Pillbox Graveyard Rock compilation.
Right. We did that compilation with Aggression and BYO,
Battalion of Saints,
Battalion of
The
Saints,
Blades, Social
The Blades.
Distortion, The Adolescents.
Right,
People
who
love that
else?
record.
Right. Oh, Bad Religion, I think, was on it.
Yeah, I
Whatever.
think so.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Did you? There was a shot after I think we'd gotten after we finished recording, that was on Selma
Ivar.
and Ivar. Thank you so much. But there's a picture that Glenn Friedman shot of us, and I think we were coming out of the strip club, or the strip club is in the background, whatever. But no,
Right.
we weren't coming out. We were coming out
The
of the
old
recording
man.
studio, and the old man. But the old man looks like Bernie Sanders, a younger version, yeah, a younger version
Yeah.
of Bernie Sanders. I'll
Yeah.
find you
Right in
that
front of the
picture and
Ivar
send it to
Theater.
you. It was so good.
Yeah.
What theater?
The Ivar Theater was a strip club,
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
that's
Yes.
the picture that they put in the insert of that record that had the lyrics to the songs on it. Was
Right.
that picture with the old man? Sorry, my
It
cat
was a,
wants to get in the shot now.
that's fine. I loved that
Yeah,
photo though.
yeah, that's a great shot. The guy was drunk, and I think his
Yeah,
belly's hanging out of his
yeah,
shirt.
but we were all hanging out with him, almost as though he was the manager. He was the Brian Epstein of the band.
Yeah, that was great. Oh, speaking of those times, Steve, Joneses just played this past weekend at the Maui Sugar Mill, and there was a kid there that said he was in a band that opened for us at the Pomona Skate Park. Do you remember when we played that show?
Vaguely, not really.
It was right before we recorded the Criminals EP. We played at a skate park,
Right.
and
Really?
anyway,
Could,
this kid that was there
can you?
Saturday night said he was at that show. I barely remembered it too, but I did remember playing at a skate park.
I do too, but
But that's when I had that
I
jar of
don't
Quaaludes.
remember.
That's when we recorded the Criminals EP.
With a jar of Quaaludes.
Yeah,
Where'd you get the jar of Quaaludes?
with a jar of Quaaludes. Uh, Yvette's mom used to get them for me. She used to get them through the mail or something.
Oh, mail order.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you
And
think that was the gateway?
here's a question for you. Huh?
Okay, I have questions for
Did
you
we
as well.
record? Did we record the Criminals EP before or after that first time we went back east and played with the Blasters?
After.
After. That's what I thought too. So yeah,
Yeah, after for
we used to
sure.
rehearse in the same place as
Because
the Blasters.
right, but Mitch Dean booked that first kind of mini tour of Jersey and New York off of
Yeah, he
the
did the
Someone
second one
Their
too.
Head Kicked In. Yeah,
But I was
I
going
mean
to tell about how we got hooked up with the Blasters.
Oh well, go for it.
Okay, so we used to rehearse at the same spot as the Blasters. It was Steve Houston and John Baz's dads were business partners, and they had
Right.
this office in Garden Grove. And there had like a loft in the office with a pool table, and we used to rehearse there. And the Blasters, and so we'd see them there all the time. They'd be leaving just as we were getting there, and it must have been Mitch, I think, that talked to him about. I don't know. They had a show at the Peppermint Lounge, and
Right
they
in
asked
New
us if we
York.
wanted to open. Yeah, in New York. And we were still a very new band. I mean, I don't think we'd even been together. Well, we hadn't been together a year yet, and already we're going back to New York and opening for the Blasters. That was really our first big show that we did.
Right, but I mean that was kind of interesting as well, because we went and were doing the show with the Blasters at the Peppermint Lounge, which was kind of a nice it was a nice venue. And then
Yeah, very
the
nice.
next night we're playing A7 down on 7th and A,
Right, right.
which is a little bit more rowdy. And what year was that? 81?
That was 1982. And
Okay,
at
so
that
80.
show at the Peppermint Lounge, I broke a string on the very first song, and before
Right.
the song was done, Phil, what's his name?
Alvin.
Singer from the Blasters. Yeah, Phil
Phil
Alvin.
Alvin.
Sent a roadie out with one of his guitars all tuned up and just put it on me. Now it's like saved my life, man. Because I would have had to play the rest of the set with a 5-string guitar, which I hadn't figured out yet at that point. But yeah, that was great.
Right.
I owe
We
that guy
were,
one for
but
his
we
life.
were not old enough to be at a 21 and over establishment, right?
That's right. That's right.
Well,
We
you and
weren't
I
old
weren't.
enough yet. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Me and you were
But I
younger
remember the
than
guy
Mitch and Steve.
Tommy.
Because I
The
can
guy
remember we did
Tommy.
one show out in Riverside, and this is when the Lime was already with us. We were sitting out in the van because we couldn't get into the club until we played. They would let us in right before we played, and then when we were done, we had to leave. And that was the night that we left the Lime in Riverside, or we started
Oh,
to.
that was the smartest thing we ever did. But What?
our first English manager of the Lime, Chris Hine.
Right, but the Lime came to us somewhere. I don't remember exactly where, but he said he was the manager for Eddie and the Hot Rods
Right.
and one
We
other
met him
band.
through Michael and Susie. We met him through Michael and Susie. He was their roommate, I think.
Right. But he said he was. Did he say the Damned?
We went and saw The Damned with him at Godzilla's, and that's the first night we all went out together, and we were telling everybody he was our manager, and he had that English accent, so people were really impressed. Like, wow, these Joneses must be up and coming, man. They've got a manager with an English accent.
That was amazing. He
Yeah, we
did
had a lot of
nothing.
fun running around.
I just remember when we were playing Madame Wong's East.
Uh-huh.
No, it wasn't Madame Wong's East. It was that place off of Melrose. I don't.
Oh, the Burgundy Room.
What was it? The Burgundy Room?
I think so. There was the only people there was our girlfriends, right?
No,
There's
no,
four
no, no,
people.
no, no,
Not
no.
that
There
many.
were people at this show. I think it was with Red Cross, and it wasn't the On Club because that was over in Silver Lake Echo Park area. But there was a play. I don't remember the Burgundy Room, the living room.
We
I
played
don't
with
know.
Red Cross at the Whiskey. Remember we opened for the We opened for Red Cross and Killing Joke. That was a weird bill.
Yeah, no, I
But that
remember
was
that. But no, there was a gig where he was our manager, but he was also working the door, and there were people coming in, and he was just picking a price for the people when they would come up, and say, "Well, yes, it's $5. Oh no, it's $3, and for women tonight, it's free if you buy me a drink and stuff like that." I mean, I don't know. It was fun. I had a blast. But I remember when
yeah.
we drove, we got the tour booked on the East Coast off of someone got their head kicked in, and we're basically supporting Graveyard Rock and Pillbox.
Killed. Yeah.
People love Pillbox, I gotta say, JD. I get so many people saying, "Oh, that's one of my favorite songs from back then," but when we were driving those drive-away cars, the American Eagles, we had the two station wagons.
The
we
matching
loaded up
Pacer wagons.
Yeah.
Pacers. The MC Pacer.
I don't think it was a Pacer. It was more of an American Eagle, but that's okay. Either
Okay.
way, it looked like it was a little bit shorter than a Pacer. It wasn't quite as tall as a Pacer. Either
Okay.
way, but we made it back in record-breaking time. We made it there in 2 days, no? Yeah. And then we
Do you
got
remember
there.
when we had to return that car in Pennsylvania?
Yeah,
And
to Allenstown.
it was way out in the country someplace, and we asked the guy, "Hey, is there like a bus or a shuttle or something that could take us into Philly so we could take a train back to Manhattan?" He's like, "No." And we're
Right.
like, "Well, we're dropping off this car. How do we get home?" He's like, "Well, you can try hitchhiking." And it's like we looked like a dog just threw up on us or something. Right? You didn't really fit in there. It was like Amish people driving their wagons and
Yeah,
stuff.
right.
And so we stuck out our thumb to hitchhike, and I swear it was like the first guy picked us up. And he's like,
Right.
"Where are you guys going?" We told him, "Well, we need to get to Philly somehow." And we're like, talking to him. He's like, "Yeah, I'm from Southern California. I picked you guys up because you look like you're from Southern California." We're like, "Yeah, how'd you guess?"
I don't remember that, but I do remember. I remember hitchhiking. I don't remember the guy picking. I remember obviously getting picked up, but I thought we got picked up
And
by a pedophile.
you were talking about Pillbox, and the weird thing about that song is, we played it in the early days, and then after a couple of years, I got really tired of that song, and people were noticing it back then. Like even when we played the Whiskey, Craig Lee, remember Craig Lee? He wrote this thing up
Yes.
about us. I think it was probably the first write-up we ever got, or close to it. And he said, especially the song Pillbox. Anyway, I eventually got tired of it. I thought there was too many chord changes. I thought the words were stupid. And anyway,
Right, but I love
stopped playing it.
Pillbox, especially now when we listen back to it. I think the words were really rather clever now.
Okay,
I didn't
now.
really pay. Yeah, well, no, not. I mean, then, yeah, but obviously we gained a little more wisdom. But yeah, I mean, you were talking about some things. I was like, oh wow, how does this fucking guy know about the FDA and everything? I mean, not.
Yeah, because I wrote that song way before I was ever in the Joneses. I wrote it when I was in high school. But the thing
Right.
is, we stopped playing it for a long time. And then when the internet came out in what was that, like mid-90s or something, I had just gotten out of prison. And there was all this stuff about Pillbox, how much people loved that song. And I had forgotten all about it. I mean, that was like 10 years later or more than that
Right.
almost, or yeah, more than
More.
that. And yeah, people love that song. It's been covered so many times. Bands always covered Pillbox of all of our
Oh,
songs.
they
It's always
do.
Pillbox.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool though.
a
But
lot
I
of bands.
just
Chelsea
remember us getting.
Smile,
I remember
Mesa
us
Lane.
getting. I remember us getting into to Jersey with those cars, and we didn't have to have them back immediately because we had made such good time. I think we had 7 or 9 days to get them from here to the East
Right.
Coast. But I remember
Yeah,
we
we had
went
them for
out.
10 days, and it only took us 2 days to get back there.
Yeah, we went out and we got extremely drunk. I mean, I know I got extremely drunk. Then I got puked all over the car. On the outside, though, not on the inside.
I think when we pulled up, we got to New Jersey in the morning, and Mitch's friends were like waiting for us, and they were already drinking martinis. I kind of remember something like that. Do you remember
Right.
that?
Well, I remember Amy and
Yeah. Do you
Amy.
remember Mitch's wedding?
Yes, I do. I rem-
You made me
I
cry.
remember Mitch. I don't know about that, but I remember Mitch's sister as well. But there was
She,
Amy, and what was her? What was Amy's husband's name?
Gary.
Gary. Gary and Amy. They were really
Amy
kind
made us
to us.
promise that we weren't going to get drunk before the wedding.
Well,
And
well,
so we
we
were
did.
getting ready. Remember, we had those plastic Hawaiian leis around our neck, and we had our baggy 50 suits on or whatever. And you had a bottle of champagne hidden someplace. And we were drinking it upstairs, and she came upstairs to check on us, see how we were doing, and she saw you guzzling this champagne, and she started crying.
Oh, that's lame. I didn't mean to make her cry. But shit
What
happens.
does she expect, man?
Well,
Just
I
trying to
don't
have
know,
a
but
good time.
I remember we would go and we would play out. This is what really stood out in my mind is that someone who would get up a little earlier after being out all night, like say 11:30. This is bizarre to me, but we would watch Ryan's Hope at 11:30, and then at
And then, oh my,
noon, it was All My Children. No, it wasn't All My Children. It was
it was All
another
My
one.
Children, then One Life to Live, and then General
Oh,
Hospital.
GH, that's right. Yeah. No, it was
And that
Ryan's
was
Hope,
back in the
All
Luke and
My
Laura time.
Children.
It was really big.
Yeah, it was huge. I remember,
Erica Kane on All My Children, man.
right.
She was really something.
But there was the
Never
girl
won an Emmy
Ginny,
though.
Ginny on Ryan's Hope that was really, really hot, who I met later on in New
Who?
York. This girl named,
Uh,
her character's name was Ginny, I think. And she was in Ryan's Hope.
hmm.
Either
Oh,
way.
I didn't watch Ryan's Hope.
Yeah, because you were still sleeping.
I was still sleeping. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
But that
start with
was,
All My Children.
yeah,
That
that
was the
was
show
at
I started
noon.
with.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was an hour, I think, before All My Children came. No, General Hospital with Luke and
Right, and the
Laura.
one in between was One Life to Live.
Right, which we didn't really care so much about.
Yeah, that one wasn't as good.
No.
But yeah, we used to watch soap operas every day. There wasn't
Yeah,
much
that
else
was
to do.
insane. That was
There wasn't.
insane. I remember,
Yeah,
though, there was one time when maybe you were sick and you
I
couldn't
did
play a
get sick.
gig.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but I remember you couldn't play a gig, and I said, I can sing the songs. And we went, and I couldn't sing one song. I mean, I could
It,
sing whatever, but
it
I
was at
couldn't
the
sing the
Melody Bar,
songs.
and you guys had Matt
Yes, it was
Pinfield
the
come up
melody.
and sing.
Right,
You guys
someone
had
came and sang.
Matt
I don't
Pinfield.
remember it was Matt. There was some other rock and roller guy that came up and sang a couple of songs as well. But that was amazing. And then I remember waking
I
up
used to
under the
love going.
stage at Melody Bar,
I used
like
to love that
playing the
place, man. It
first
was
gig,
great.
playing the first show, and then there were two shows each night, right? There
Hmm.
was an earlier show, and then there was the later show. I just remember wasn't functioning for the later show, and someone else came and played bass. Well, I was underneath the stage.
And that was
Sleep.
all in New Brunswick, and that's when Matt Penfield had his show at Rutgers, which is also in New Brunswick. So he would have us on his radio show, and we'd be talking about whatever gig we were playing, and the
Right,
Melody Bar, and that was where Mitch grew up. So he knew all those people. He was friends
right,
with
right,
all those
right.
people,
And Matt Pinfield enjoyed the
and
Joneses, I think.
that's why we went back there that first time was because he was getting married.
Mitch.
Yeah, Mitch got married on our first little run back to the East Coast.
Right, married to Mary. I see
Yeah,
Mitch. I
yeah.
see Mitch and Mary's daughter occasionally, who
Oh,
goes
really?
out with a friend of
I didn't know.
mine's son. Yeah, which is
I didn't
wild.
know they
No,
had a daughter.
they have two daughters actually,
Oh, wow.
and
Well,
the daughter I see
congratulations,
all the
man.
time is really, really, actually very cool.
So I want to interrupt the Joneses talk for just a minute because there's some stuff I want to know about that I didn't know, even though I've known you all this time that I never know about. Like when I first met you, I could tell people kind of treated you a little bit different. And I hit you up one day and I'm like, "What's up with this, Steve? Are you famous or something?" And he's like, "Oh, it's skateboarding." I didn't know what skateboarding was. Like I had just come from Merced, and there were two kids that used to skateboard around Merced High, but they were kind of weird. One of them, his dad was the basketball coach, so they had some money or whatever. But I never, I had a skateboard when I was a little kid in the '60s. It was just like a piece of plywood with like these wheels on it that were like made of stone or something, and I could never
Clay.
even stand up on it. Why don't you talk about how you got into skateboarding and how you became so good at it?
I mean, I grew up kind of from fourth grade on down in Rossmore, which is like not north, so South Long Beach, Seal Beach, Los Alamitos, that whole little world. But yeah, we were surfers, and I actually played sports, and I swam and all of that stuff. I mean, we played baseball, didn't we, JD?
Me and you used to play tennis. I played baseball, but I was up in Merced.
Right, right, right. No, but I thought, why do I remember playing baseball? Whatever. I remember playing tennis as well. Anyway, whatever. But skateboarding came along.
Oh, we both played on the Jimmy Z softball team. We played baseball then.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I knew there was some. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, I was a surfer and I was a skateboarder.
We were both left-handed, so I had two gloves, and
Oh,
so I
there
used to
you
use
go.
one of my
Yes,
gloves.
I was not going to assume that you were left-handed. Yeah, but we
Yeah,
played guitar right-handed. Either way. Yeah.
right.
But
Both of us. Yeah.
anyway,
Weird.
so I was a surfer, and skateboarding came into the scene in the mid 70s. And I skateboarded a lot, and then the skate parks blew up all over the place. And after that point, I was hanging out at the skate parks, not surfing as much, but skateboarding more. And I could surf too. I was like sponsored surfer kid, like I'm thinking 15, 14, 15. And then skateboarding hit, and became good at skateboarding. Um,
Did
I
that
don't know,
just happen automatically, or did you have
I
to
don't know
work
why I
at it, or
became a
did you
good.
just?
Yeah, of course. I mean, but you were into it, so you weren't really. You were skateboarding to 8 hours a day because you
Right.
just love skateboarding.
Just all the
You
time.
know, I
You
mean,
loved it, so you're constantly doing it.
where you work, were
Because
we
by the
like
time I
working
met
out,
you, you
trying
were
to become
19.
right? And skateboarding had
Because you
died
were like
basically
19
by
when I
then.
met you, and you had already made the movie with Devo, and you had already, you were telling me you made
Right.
so much money in high school that you were actually able to help your parents out financially. I thought that was great.
I helped them at one point when it kind of wasn't so nice. Like, whatever. My dad was like, "I need to borrow some money." I was like, "Please take whatever you need. Here's 150 grand." I'm kidding. Um, here's five. Here's 5 grand. Don't say I never gave you anything, except for that you gave me life. No, but it was fun, and I could skateboard, and I did good in skateboarding, and I was into punk rock.
And,
Um, I heard
and it must
punk
have
rock
happened
through
pretty fast.
skateboarding.
I mean, because you're talking about
Yeah, I
being
mean,
14,
I
15,
was
and then by the time
16.
I
I was
met you,
16, and it went into 17, and then skateboarding started to die, and now you're 18, and skateboarding is dying. But then there's another wave of skateboarders, and but I also I was like I loved punk rock.
yeah.
Like when I say punk rock, I mean like the Cramps and the Vibrators, and
Yeah, I remember. And you
Johnny
were one of the
Thunders
first.
and those cats. You know, whatever. I wasn't really into hardcore ever.
Right. And you were one of the first guys that sort of made that connection between skateboarding and punk rock, right?
Yes, exactly.
And then in fact, when the Joneses started, some of the first like write-ups that we got were in Thrasher magazine, and that's because they knew who you were. Otherwise, they wouldn't have cared.
I
But
mean, I
because you
lived with
were,
those dudes. I lived with them before they started Thrasher. So yeah, it goes along with who you know.
and at that time when we were starting the Joneses, you really didn't want to be known as a skateboarder. You wanted to be known as a musician, and you tried to play that down. if from what I remember.
Well, I think so too. I don't. Yeah, I'm sure I did. I mean, I wasn't. Skateboarding was dead. I mean, we still skateboard all the time, but
Right. Just for
did
for
did we
fun or
bring? Did
whatever.
I bring a skateboard to New York then? No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. Now I know the
Maybe.
statute of limitations is probably already run out. So why don't you tell everybody about that stand-up bass that you had when I met you?
The one that was painted black with the flames.
Yeah, the one that you stole from Cypress College.
Well, whatever. We borrowed it permanently.
Oh, you borrowed it.
Yeah, but it was with Taters, and Taters and I were going to Cypress Junior College.
I went
Eh,
there too.
Yeah, and then I think I was taking Spanish and political science and theater arts to kind of see how it went. But I remember going
Yeah.
into the theater arts and seeing, like, I don't know, let's say there were 5, 6 upright basses in the back of the stage, and I was like, "Yo, Taters! Oh my God, they have some basses. Maybe we maybe we can put
I
one
knew one.
outside. Maybe we can put one outside the exit door and see if anyone like notices and takes it and puts it back in." And we drove around, and the bass was still there, so we put it in the car and left.
You just walked away with their bass.
Walked away with their bass. Yeah, I think I sent them some money.
Amazing. No, you didn't.
Of course not. But yeah, no.
So
But
you
then
are
my brother was like a great airbrusher and all of that, and
right.
painter and whatever. But I remember he dropped some flames on it that made it very cool. But I also put some EMG pickups on it that this guy had mounted. One was to the E and the A, and the other one was to the D and the G, with a
Hmm.
little power amp, and it kind of a little preamp in this bridge that he screwed onto the actual
So it
neck.
distorted.
No, it sounded great. It would pick up all of the
Yeah.
strings because a lot of the other upright basses had just the pickups in the bridge,
Oh wow.
kind of
So that
thing.
was our great friend Skate Master Tate. He wasn't Skate Master Tate yet. He was still just Potato Head or Taters or whatever.
Yeah,
You were the
no,
first
yeah,
guy I met down here. He was the second guy.
right. But I
Tato.
remember he used to DJ. Well, he was a disc jockey at that
Uh
time
huh.
at Cypress College or junior college, and you could drive through. Like the DJ station was right here, and there was a cut through the middle of the school. This is just a road, whatever. But I remember we would go by there, and he would be DJing. If you drove by there, it would feed back because you have you'd have your stereo up. And we would just go in and hassle Taters, driving back and forth, screaming at him. And then he'd finally like say, "Oh, these idiots are out here trying to make whatever." Anyway, yeah, that was Taters. Taters was
Yeah.
amazing, right?
Yeah, I love Taters. He was a yeah. He had some grouchy days, but loved
Oh
him.
yeah,
So
he
you
became a
got any
hardcore
special
dope
memory?
addict.
Yes, he was. Yes, he
Are we
was.
capable of
Especially
talking
there
about
was
that, or is that not a good thing?
there was a time in the '90s when he had kind of the same habits that I did. I tried to get him a job with me because I had this really good job at this nail polish manufacturer, and he worked there like 1 week, and he just
Got
couldn't do it.
fired.
He was in bad shape at that point. Not he eventually got like stomach cancer or whatever, but this was just he was really strung out, and it was
Yeah,
kind of sad.
I just remember he was really strung out, and I would go by and see him, and he would go into the bathroom in the morning. I don't know what, not super early, but early enough, and you just hear him puking like crazy.
Yeah.
I remember one time he came out and he had puked so hard that he had tore his eye a little bit.
Oh.
He tore his eye because he was vomiting so hardcore and ripped something, so there was like a couple of a couple blood veins running. I was like, "Yo, Taters, you." If just he's like, "No, I did that long before." I was like, "No, bitch, you did that just now." Either way, Taters was funny, but yeah, Taters and I helped ourselves to the base. and
Do you
never went
remember
back.
driving across Texas or someplace and filling condoms up with water and throwing them at cows along the side of the road?
In Texas?
Somewhere that they had cows.
Right, but I don't recall the
Oh,
Joneses going through Texas when I was on it.
well,
I
we had to
think,
drive through Texas to get back east, right? I mean, we didn't
well, I
drive
think so.
through.
I mean, I think it goes through Amarillo.
Right at throughout the Panhandle there. Right.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
Oklahoma. It might have been
Right.
Oklahoma
We were
or even
filling up.
Missouri. I don't know.
We were
Where do they have
filling up.
cows?
All right. Well, they probably have cows a couple places along that route.
I was sure driving back there like that it would end up like the movie Easy Rider because by that time I think I had blue hair. It was kind of long and stuff, and I thought for sure that somebody would find us dead on the side of the road in Texas. But the people were so friendly, I couldn't believe it. They loved us.
Right. I think I had blue-black hair. I really liked. It was
Yeah.
like if it would hit.
We stopped at this one fireworks place in Missouri, and this guy called us, "Hey, daughter, come out here and look at these musicians from California. They got blue hair. You're gonna love them." Yeah, people were great.
I
I
don't.
thought for sure we'd get killed and buried on the side of the road or something,
But
but no,
it
people
didn't
were great.
happen. But it was fun. We made it, right? I just remember being in New York on that tour, and
You what?
we had met some people on that tour, but Susie and Michael lived over in Tribeca at the time.
Hudson Street, right?
Yeah, but I remember, I think it was you and I, or maybe me, Houston and I, had like met up with some girls. I just remember waking up in the, like, the early afternoon with the sun just pelting down on us, and we'd been just loaded, and then
Yeah,
just sweating terribly. Maybe I thought it was you, but just waking up
that's
and
probably
just
me.
being like, oh, let's go back to Jersey. Please, let's go back to Gary and Amy's.
Yeah, we used to stay at Susie's place on 88 Hudson Street, or was it 77
It
Hudson
was
Street? I can't remember.
77 Hudson. I still
77.
talk to Susie.
Yeah, I do. She's friends with me on Facebook. I don't talk to her as often, but
Right.
I get messages from her every now and then.
Yeah,
I love
she's
her.
great.
She's
I
great.
love her.
Yeah,
And I love that loft. I just remember,
that
yeah,
loft was great.
yeah. I don't think, the story I was
We
about
stayed
to,
there a lot. We stayed
yeah,
there when we went back, like after we were out of the Joneses, when like in '87 when we did that cable TV interview in Brooklyn and flew back there
I,
with all those Joneses records and stuff.
right, I vaguely remember that. I remember Linda Stein hip
I was
to,
just going to mention Linda Stein.
was hip to managing the Joneses at that time.
Yeah, that was fun. She was fun. That's too bad. You told me that story about the police questioning you about her murder. That was
Well,
wild.
yeah, no, it was sad that she got murdered, but
Yeah, that was really
shit
sad.
happens. Yeah, it was fucked up.
She was so nice.
Yeah, she was very cool to us. She
She
liked the
loved the Joneses.
Joneses. Yeah,
Yeah.
she really liked
She
the
tried to get
Joneses.
us a deal
Yeah, with RCA or someone, no?
at RCA. Yep, yep. But that's how I discovered that other band was calling itself the Joneses, because remember we went and met with that guy from RCA, and he gave us like free passes to Bo Diddley at the church, and then he asked us to send him a tape. So we came back home and recorded that Tits and Champagne record. It was supposed to originally a demo for RCA, and we sent it to him. And then he contacted me and said, "Hey, what about these songs?" And he listed off a bunch of songs that weren't our songs. And I said, "No, that's not us." And he's
Right.
like, "Oh, because this band, the Joneses, sent me this." And then right after that, I got a letter from their attorney threatening to sue me if I didn't change the name. But that's how that all started, was with those guys at RCA.
Right, right. Oh, but that's how we did the record, Tits and Champagne?
Yeah, we originally recorded it to send to those guys at ours because they wanted to hear something. Because remember, it was just me and you. There wasn't really a
Right,
band.
right, right.
And we came back here, and it was with Sessa, and originally we got Roger Flores, and then that didn't work out. But
But Roger could play.
yeah, huh?
Roger could play.
He could. He
You know what I
could.
mean? Like he
He
was
always kind of reminded me a little bit of Brian Wassman, the way he laughed and stuff.
100%. I mean, they were those kinds of musicians. Kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. They say, I don't know. Roger Brian Wattsman always reminded me of an original type of punk rock cat, like
Yeah.
pale, not normal, and
Yeah.
I
He's a great guy. I
love
actually,
Brian.
when I
Yeah,
lived in Portland, I worked at his record store in Vancouver, Washington for a while. He's my boss, so that was a lot of fun.
you are kidding me. What do you mean you went to Vancouver, Washington,
Yeah, I
and
lived in
worked for
Portland for a
Brian Wattsman?
year. Yeah, and
What were
while I
you
was
doing in
living
Portland?
there with my mom, I
Oh,
went there to
okay.
clean up after I lived in Phoenix, and then I got strung out in Portland too. But while I was living there,
Right.
Brian's record store was in Vancouver, Washington, which is actually just right across the Columbia River from Portland.
Right.
And so I worked at his record store for a while. It was great. It was fun.
Amazing. Now he does it all online.
Now he does it all online. Yeah,
He
I
told me
just
he's
talked to him not that long
he
ago.
told me he's better at drumming than ever in his life. And he told me,
Really?
tell me what big bands you know that are looking for a studio drummer or a drummer to go on the road with. I'm ready to go. Just have to give me the chops, and I have to lose 150 pounds. And
Someday
that's
we should
great.
get together with him and play again, like with that greatest hits record that we were talking about doing. We should use him
That
as the
would be
drummer.
fun. But
That'd be
I liked the sessions that we did for the RCA recording from Tits and Champagne. I liked all of them. I liked our version of Cheatin' Heart. I liked the version of Route 66. I liked
you know Matt.
Steamin'. I liked Tits and Champagne. I liked Buy You a Ring. I liked all
You
those
know
songs. They were fun.
Matt Rosny sent me a tape and a CD of rough mixes of those songs where the guitars are really loud, and I think it's before there was piano or sound effects added, and it's so rocking, man. It's so
Oh,
good, so
really?
raw,
Really?
loud guitar. Yeah, I have it here.
Oh, and so, yeah, it was. Where did we record that stuff?
We recorded that. We started recording it at Butch Livingston's studio in Fullerton. It was right off Commonwealth over by Big John's, and then we finished it at Greg Keen's house. We did the vocals, the piano, and the sound effects at Greg Keen's house
Greg Keen's house in Hollywood?
when he lived on Chirimoya in like
Yeah,
Beechwood Canyon.
Cherimoy up there. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I don't. I just remember it was you, myself, Sessa, Matt, and there was a fifth dude playing guitar.
Mark Walsdorf.
Mark, yeah. And those
He
guys,
was really good.
yeah, those
He was
guys,
really
I just sounded cool. I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah. There's a lot of people to have in the band, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but it
those good.
sounded
Because
good.
3 guitars was a lot, but
Yeah,
yeah, they were great. They were great. I
definitely.
like that record too. I don't like that record that song I did with Greg, that Bad Attitude song. The one we did is like for a pilot, TV pilot,
Right.
but it didn't sound like the Joneses. It wasn't. We just added it on because to even out the record. But that was something that he recorded with Alex Gibson. Had it already recorded and said, "Hey JD, I need you to come and sing some vocals on this thing for this TV pilot."
Right.
And they were saying, "Sing like Joey Ramone." I'm like, I don't sing like Joey Ramone,
Right.
so that's why it sounds kind of weird. It's not really a Joneses song.
No. But that came out on the record?
Yeah, Bad Attitude. It's in the middle of the song on side 2,
Of
right between Steamin', which I think was another mistake,
Oh
and
no, I like Steamin'. I thought Steamin' was great.
really, you like
Yeah,
that?
I really like Steamin' a lot, actually. I like Steamin',
Musically, it's good. I just don't
but first
think
Bad
I'm a blues.
Attitude. Did Bad Attitude come out on the first version of Tits and Champagne?
Yeah, it's always been on there
It's
because we only
always
had
been
5
on there.
songs.
Right, but we didn't. No one who recorded. Greg and some other cats, and you sang on it.
Yeah, Greg and Alex Gibson recorded it, and they needed vocals. And I remember I was at Fullerton College one day, and he called me, or I guess that was before cell phones, but he got a hold of me and said that he needed vocals for this theme song for a TV
Right.
pilot, and wanted me to do it. And when I got up there, the music was already done, and he was trying to coach me and telling me to sing like Joey Ramone, and I was never really happy with that. But we put it on there because we only had 5 songs and we wanted 6, and so. But yeah, this other stuff was recorded as demos for RCA, and we just had it laying around. And then that's when Trigon contacted me and said, "Hey, do you guys have anything you want to put out?" And we had that stuff laying around, that Tits and Champagne stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah, but I liked Tits and Champagne. I loved a couple of the songs a lot. I really, really liked the version of Cheatin' Heart. I thought it was powerful.
Yeah, that's fun.
Truly, I
We
really
still
was like,
play it.
oh, that's fucking great. That's a great song. And I liked Route 66. I remember Route 66, one of those bands, OMD or Depeche Mode, one of those bands came out with their cool, I liked their version of it as well, but I really thought, I was like, oh, wow, ours is a rockin' version of that song.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was due to
Our
just
our
how
version reminds me
straightforward.
of our version reminds me of the version that the Stones did on that "Got Live If You Want It" record.
Right.
Anyway, early Stones did a live version that was really cool.
Of Route 66.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Bobby Troop wrote that song like in the 50s.
Right. Yeah, but that's a great song. Now, but what about what's the name of the record company that Joe Nelson
The
Trust?
name of the record company, what?
The one that we're going to do the record for, the greatest hits. Is it called Trust?
Oh, I don't know. That's
Trust
somebody you
Records, I
talked
think
to.
it's
I
a. Yeah. No, I mean he's still like he's like, I see him occasionally. He's like, oh, what about doing that? And I was like, yeah, sure, we want to do that. We still
So
haven't done
tell everybody about our idea. What was our idea for that? For greatest hits? What was the
it was
joke?
to do all covers of
Right.
other people's greatest hits.
Right, right.
It wasn't always greatest hits of all the other. It was just very
Right,
cool,
just other people's
cool
songs.
songs. Yeah. What was the Elvis one we wanted to do?
I wanted to do "Burnin' Love."
That was it. Burn in Love. And then there were a couple other really
I've always liked that song.
I really liked some other songs as well on that.
Yeah, we had a whole list at some point.
Yeah, I still
think
have
might
that
it
list.
someplace.
Oh, I have the list for
Okay.
sure. I mean, I have it on my phone.
Okay.
And so, please be patient.
Yeah, we
Now
got to
pull
get
it
that
up.
guy, get a big advance, for our
Huge,
homeless.
huge, huge, gigantic.
Yeah, a lot of commas.
Oh, here it is. Jones's greatest hits. Tallahassee Lassie.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Jam Up and Jelly Tight.
That's a
What
good
the
one.
World Needs Now. Burning Love. Waterloo.
That's a good one.
Leopard Skin Pillbox Hat. And Unbelievable by EMF.
That's another good one.
Yeah. Oh, and
That reminds me of.
I remember I was saying, let's do Bop by the Hands.
How did we? I don't even remember. How did we ever come up with the idea for Crocodile Rock? How did that happen?
I don't know exactly.
I
I mean-
remember you knew some guy that played piano. It was before we knew Greg, and we went over to his house and got stoned, and he listened to it and he wrote down the chords for us, and that's how
Oh,
we learned it.
fuck, maybe it was Russell Berkeley.
That name sounds familiar. Maybe it was.
Russell could play. He was like in he was in an advanced rock and roll type of band.
Yeah, he wrote down the chords for us.
It
because we
could
couldn't
definitely,
figure out, but we wanted to do that.
definitely have been Russell for sure.
Because I always loved that song. I was a big Elton John fan when I was about 12 years old, and that's the song that made me start liking Elton John, because it was
Right.
sounded kind of 50s,
Yeah,
and
it was
like
a
Del
50s
Shannon
kind
or
of song.
something.
Yeah,
It's
it
got
was
some
a
great chord
song.
changes.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It definitely had a 50s vibe to it,
Yeah,
without
and
a
people
doubt.
were always blown away. It's like, wow, whoever thought to record that song? But it seems like, to me, it always seemed like really natural. Like,
Seemed
wow,
like,
I can't
why,
believe nobody's...
why wouldn't someone record that song?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And luckily for us, nobody really had, and so I thought really that was the song that was going to make the Joneses famous, was that version of Crocodile Rock.
Oh, I love that. You know
What do
what?
I know?
And I always thought that it was a little fast. Like too fast.
You thought it was what?
Fast.
Oh, fast. Yeah.
I was thinking it
was
could have
fast.
been a little bit more rockin'. But whatever. I mean,
So how about
always,
this?
any of those drummers would set the tempos, and it was always like, okay, you're pounding away. We
So
keep
how
them
about
that
this?
way.
The first song that we recorded to be the A side of our first single was Jonestown, an instrumental that sounded like it was from a spaghetti western or something. Do you remember we used to even open with that song? I
I
mean,
like
what?
Jonestown.
I do too, but it didn't really sound like anything else that we ever did. We never did anything else that sounded like
It
that.
sounded nothing like anything, but it kind of had. I mean, we did Brand New Cadillac
Right?
back then, and I think we brought that. That came in from the Clash
Yeah.
because of Brand New
We also
Cadillac.
had a song called Hey, because I found an old set list, a song called Hey. Do you remember that one at all?
No,
I wrote down that it was in key of B, but that's all I know. And Ron Emery's the one that came up with that melody line in Jonestown. Dun, 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 dun,
right.
dun. That's Ron.
There's a couple of really good. I like a lot of guitar in Jonestown, but there's also one that's just annoying as fuck, and it's just this tingy, like, I don't know who was playing it, but I was like, oh wow, that fucking is annoying. But the rest of it was
That's probably me.
I really know. I don't know who it was. Didn't matter. But that guy Rick played on that one, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Um,
Either way,
Ron
but
also came up with the riff from Zoner, I think.
Zoner was great.
Yeah, another original. We were writing a lot of songs in that short period of time. That was
Uh,
all.
I think
That was all stuff we wrote.
had no
We were getting ready for
choice.
those Alpine Village songs.
Yes. But the Alpine Village sets were great. I thought, oh wow, the Joneses are kind of cool. Joneses
Yeah,
are
those were
pretty
our
cool.
very first shows. People liked us, and we got lucky that we were able to play with Missing Persons and the Dickies because a lot of people saw us. So our first
Right.
shows were kind of high profile, which
High
was really
profile,
amazing
right?
and lucky on our part.
Do you, do you
Mitch
remember
had that
playing
connection
with
there.
that guy Dennis, who also then opened up Dancing Waters down in Pedro? He did
I remember
Alpine
Dancing
Village,
Waters.
and then he did Dancing Waters. I don't know. There was a point one time we were playing Dancing Waters, maybe with Social Distortion,
I
and
remember that show.
we had
We had almost had to fight them in the office upstairs.
yeah, because they were like, oh, we brought in more people, and we were like, yo, but the deal was, we split
Right,
this, and they're like, oh yeah,
right. They were going to try to take some of our money,
and we stood
and
up,
we
and they're
and
like, you guys are dicks,
they didn't want
but
to fight
nothing
over it
happened.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think
And
we
do you remember
really.
that those first shows? I had a brand new leather jacket that my grandma bought me, and some guy stole it. The guy that
Lib?
was in the band that I think opened for us, Lib, right? My grandma Lib, you remember her? She loved you.
Yeah,
And
I
some guy stole my
remember as
brand
soon
new
as I
leather
saw it.
jacket, and somehow we found out who had it. And you called the guy, and you would leave these messages on his answering machine of like a horse or something. Do you remember that? And the
No.
guy brought the leather jacket back. You scared him.
Oh, nice. What do you mean as a horse? I don't-
You would call it going ring, or what's the horse sound a horse makes? Like yeah, something like
I
that.
don't
Like
recall.
a wild horse.
But
But you
and
scared
you
him, and
got
he
your
brought the
jacket
leather
back?
back.
Oh, I
I got it
like
back.
that.
Yeah.
That's great. That is fantastic.
I
Uh,
I remember one night when that jacket was new. I was in the car with when me and you were in your with your parents, and like it's like a Volkswagen Bug or some not Bug,
a
Rabbit,
dasher.
some little car.
It was a
And
dasher.
your mom's like, "What's that smell?" It was my leather jacket because it was new, so she could smell the leather. She goes, "What's that smell?" That's my leather jacket.
That is
Your parents are
amazing.
always so cool, man. I love your parents.
Yeah, they were supportive to a point, but
Yeah,
but I really liked Lib and Ernie.
yeah, they were very cool too,
Yeah.
and they loved you. And the thing is, most of my friends' parents didn't like me, but your parents were always very nice to me, and that was a refreshing
Right.
change.
Oh, but I remember my dad called you Jeffy.
Yeah,
Do you, do you remember that? He's like, where's Jeffy? Was Jeffy coming over? His name is Jeff. And he's like, anyway, so Jeffy coming over. But I think my dad also enjoyed the fact that we knew a little bit about sport. Well, that you had an idea about sports. You're into the Angels at the
yeah.
time.
And
Yeah.
your dad used to bring his trumpet to
Yeah,
Jones's rehearsal, so
bring
you
it.
have a
And
couple
you
glasses of
loved playing
wine.
Hey Bop Rebop.
Hey, Baba Rebop. Yep.
Yeah, I remember I used to kick it. I would go and he would play Hey Bop a Rebop, and I'd put on a Casio drum beat and play like in the key, whatever the fucking key was his trumpet was. Whatever. Yeah. Yeah, it was insane. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
But so the Joneses, there was also the time when we went and shot the video for
Oh yeah.
for
In Las Vegas.
Black Ash Bone.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
love
loved that. That was fantastic. And who was it? Who was one of the production assistants? Taters.
Taters.
Taters. Absolutely
It was
taters.
when we went to Vegas. It was me, you, and Frenchie, and those girls and Basha.
And Basha, but also
Uh,
there was this guy Paul. Can't think of Paul's name, but I met him in New York, and he had moved back to L.A. I forget his last name, but he was there. But Taters was there as well, and we kicked Houston out in Santa Monica. He
yes.
said, "You can't go because you're a dick." But then I had the German guy JJ.
Well, he
My-
started harassing those girls before we even left Santa Monica.
Right? No, it's too bad. I mean,
And JJ the Devil.
the devil, yeah, but JJ didn't make the first set. He came out the
Right.
second
Well, we made
time.
2 trips. The first trip was to Vegas, and the second trip was to Zizek's Road.
Right. What do you call that road? Zizik?
Zizek? Isn't that how you call it?
I
Zizek.
don't. I just know it's called.
I wish we had a good copy of that video
XXYYZZ.
because, yeah, ZZYXXZZ or something. I wish we had a clean copy of that video because it's so good, and the only copy I have has been transferred so many times
It's terrible.
that it's like, what do you call it, saturated, or it's
Well,
just,
it's called.
it's bad.
It's just generation. It's just completely destroyed.
Just too many transfers. I mean, because
Yeah.
originally it was on whatever you guys filmed it on.
Just completely degenerated. I think we
Yeah.
shot it on Super 8. I know we shot it
Okay.
on Super 8. And Basha made cool, weird films. And I just remember there was the time. I just remember shooting the second trip with the devil in the dry lake off of Zizek's.
You remember we
Sweet.
went to the ghost town too, and we met another. He reminded me of the guy that's in front of the Ivar Theater. That guy that we walked down the
The
street
sheriff.
with the big belly. The sheriff, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because you guys shot it on whatever you shot it on, and I remember I had to go to this place in Orange County and get it transferred onto. I think in those days it was Beta.
Yeah,
not
it's
sure, but
probably Betacam. Or,
I just spent
yeah.
like $40 or something. So they made a copy of that, and then we had to transfer it to VHS, and then we transferred it to a DVD, and it lost all of its resolution. Or
Yeah,
I
it
don't know
just
what you know.
degenerated.
What do you call it?
It's degeneration, I think.
I wish we could find a good copy of it because that was such a fun video, man. It was.
But
That's the
didn't-
only Joneses video there is.
But didn't a car break down too? Do you
I don't
remember that?
I remember we had to stop.
A car broke down, and that was another nightmare.
Yeah.
I gotta pee. Can you hold on a second?
Sure. Oh, yeah. I'll just sing or something while
Do
you're
something. Write a new song. I don't know.
shaking the. I'll write a song while you're done.
So anyway, can you hear me?
So I think it's about time to wrap it up, Steve. I didn't realize that it's almost 4:45, and
Oh, it is. We're done.
I think it's time to go. But
Just
thanks for being on the podcast. I think we got to do this again sometime. We got a lot of stuff we could talk about.
Yeah, we could keep going and going and going.
Yeah, you got anything coming up that you want to promote real quick?
Yeah, life. I don't. Yeah, I have shows coming up, but they're not in town. They're out of the
Yeah. Okay.
country, kind of
Well,
thing.
people can watch this all over the world. They probably will. So if you got anything you want to pimp, go ahead.
Yeah, no.